What's going on? Greetings, fellow Earthlings, and welcome to vlogmas. So today we are finally making our way to the Home Depot, like do-it-yourself kids activities. I literally can never go to stores like that without buying something. I ended up buying 2 more plants. So I'm gonna show you what I do every time I bring home a new plant. They're gonna be like in quarantine for a couple days. It's best to leave them in like a quarantine for a couple weeks. I might end up leaving them in quarantine, but I might end up moving them elsewhere. I don't have that many houseplants, like I really don't. I don't know, they're all pretty much congregated to like one area right now, just because living in a jungle isn't for everybody, and like I understand that. For me though, I would have houseplants literally everywhere. I do want to be respectful of the fact that not only do I have another human living with me, I also have dogs and kids, and one of my dogs has the strongest tail, so if I have any houseplants on the floor, his tail will just rip them to shreds. So today feels way more hectic than normal, but this plant that I got is an alocasia. I've been wanting an alocasia for a while, and as you can tell, she's outgrown her pot, so we have to repot her. I have this other nursery pot. It's about maybe 2 inches bigger than the pot that she's in right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and repot her, and then I'm gonna bring her and the burgundy ficus upstairs in the shower, and I'm gonna show you what I do up there. So I just set this up on my altar, and I don't hate it. And it's gonna be a lot of that indirect sun, which I know alocasias like, so I might end up leaving it here, but I'm not entirely sure. Fun fact, last time you guys saw me bring plants upstairs, I accidentally left them in the shower, and when Josh woke up in the morning to shower before work, he had to move them into the bathtub, so. Oh, something really sad. I saw a whole bunch of poinsettias in a trash can, and I asked if I could buy them, and they said no. So, literally only looked like they needed a little bit of water, and they would have been fine, but they said they wouldn't sell them to me, so. It's really unfortunate. I try to get the water to be at least room temperature-ish before I'll put it on the plants, but I don't think that's necessarily, as long as it's not like ice cold or piping hot, you should be fine. So normally I would just let them air dry, but their leaves were so dirty, so I'm actually gonna take just like a washcloth and wipe the water off so that there's no like hard water stains or anything like that, so that they're able to absorb the most amount of light possible, which is really, really important in the winter time because your plants aren't getting as much light. So if you don't have any kind of artificial light source, which at this point in time I don't have, they really need to be cleaned and able to absorb as much sunlight and get as much energy as possible. So I will at some point be purchasing grow lights again. I just haven't gotten around to it, honestly. I want different ones than I had last time. With my previous houseplant collection, I had a shelf that I basically zip tied these LED full spectrum lights to. The lights themselves were really cheap, but they were so bright and just like obnoxious amount of light would come off of them, and they were not pleasant to have on in the house, just like in general. So we do want ones that hang, I think. I also haven't necessarily figured out where I'm putting all the houseplants in the house yet, so that's another thing that we have to get to. But I'm gonna go ahead and wipe all of these leaves off. This is how this is starting off. I'm curious to see how dirty these are even after I rinsed them. All right, so this is from about half of the alocasia. So as you can see, I don't know if you can actually see, there's a decent amount of dirt. This was just half of the leaves, and there's only like 6 leaves on this plant. So that's a decent amount of coverage from the sun that these plants are not able to absorb light through those areas. You know what I mean? Let's see how dirty you are, my love. Allie, the alocasia. So original, right? I feel like you're like a Fred or something. I feel like more masculine presence, which I don't mind. Thank you guys for becoming a part of our little plant family. My name is Amber. I had a very large houseplant collection. Never had an alocasia though. Hi, welcome, how are you? I'm very excited. Something that other people do that I've never done before is wipe the leaves down with neem oil. It's supposed to help with like pests, I guess. I have never had a big widespread pest problem. The worst problem that I've had is fungus gnats, which those are super easy to get rid of. I don't know why people make it such a huge deal. And this is how I clean my leaves most often, is just rinsing them off in the shower, and I won't even dry them. I'll just let them air dry. I'm not sure about the water here though. I don't know if they'll leave hard water stains, like I said, which is why I wanted to wipe these down, just because they're new. If there were any like bug eggs or anything, I would just wipe those right off as well. But those are things that you can't necessarily see all the time. This is pretty gross, actually. a decent amount of dirt and dust and just gross on that. So I'm glad I was able to get a lot of that off. I'm gonna let them dry off a little bit in here, and then I'm gonna move some stuff around and see where they're gonna go. And yes, I talk to my houseplants, don't you? So in Vlogmas day 2, I think it was the first like houseplant Vlogmas that I did. I mentioned that I had a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that was pretty sad looking over here in the corner. The reason that it's so sad looking is because I had it on a bamboo stake when I first repotted it, and it outgrew that stake within like a month. And because we were traveling, I didn't have the means to put it on something else, you know, and it's not a plant that I would have bought or brought into my collection had I known that we were going to continue traveling. But when I got it, the goal was to find a rental like right then and there. Forgot that there was a housing crisis, you know what I mean? So it took us a little longer to find a house than we would have liked. But right now, after I literally have used packing tape to tape up some vines here because I didn't want to invest in something if it was just gonna die anyway. And since I've done this, it hasn't lost any more leaves. There's like one leaf over here that's pretty yellow, so this one will end up falling off, but everything else looks, you know, decent. So if this doesn't end up working out, it's okay. I'm just gonna chop and prop, and then I will use this stake in this corner. This is where it's gonna be, this is where it's gonna live. These grow so fast, like so fast. So I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed that this works out okay. And yeah, I haven't entirely figured out how I'm gonna attach to the stake though. So I have zip ties, I have plant clips, and then of course I have like tape or string if I need that. But I think I'm gonna try the plant clips first because those can be removed and like moved really easily. And if those don't work out, I'm gonna go zip ties before I even try the tape because the tape is just like a no-go with plants. Okay, so I shimmied that little stake into the corner. It's not in the pot. I'm not putting it in the pot. I'm not doing that because it's gonna rot in there. And then when I go to have to repot it, it's just not gonna work out. So it's doing what it needs to do for right now. These are some plant clips that I got at the dollar store like last year. They always have these in stock when it's spring. So if you get the chance and you have a lot of houseplants, get these because you're gonna use them even when you feel like you're not going to. I use them for like everything. So these are really nice, really easy, also really cheap. There's 2 different sizes. I'm probably going to end up using the big ones just because I have to, but I'm gonna try the small ones first. This is connected to my wall, like I said, with packing tape. So as you can see, the legginess is a problem. I'm gonna try to roll with it. I'm trying to position the aerial roots kind of like around the wood so that they attach to the wood. Like that guy hopefully will grow around or into the wood. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, P, Q, R, X. So after doing that to the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, I went ahead and did this to this houseplant, and I really like these hooks. So I might end up replacing these clips with those hooks. I think these might end up being some of my favorite products. So I know that they make them specifically for plants, but this I just found at Aldi. They're hang lights, like Christmas lights. So just a little pro tip here as I'm ending the video. When you're buying these trailing plants at the store or off Facebook Marketplace, or maybe you're sent a cutting, they will survive as a trailing plant, but they will thrive if you're able to give them something that they're able to grow up, or if you just mount them and support them as they continue to grow. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and please let me know what your favorite houseplant is down in the comments below, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another episode of Vlogmas.